A little tea. Time of the morning to you, people. Top of the morning to ya. Can't wait to say hello to a few folks here in just a couple seconds, and then let's have a fun morning of January the 1st, 2024. Man, my brain has been firing for the last couple days. And pun intended there, I have cooked everything possible. Carol and I have had great Christmas, New Year's with the kids, grandkids, family coming and going, and the revolving door on our fast food restaurant here, our kitchen, has been going great. We love it. It's just been awesome. It's been laughter and just some wonderful visits and prayers and tears, and it's just been fabulous. You know what? It's been fabulous. And so let me say hi, and then this piece of music fades out here in 30 seconds, and I'm just going to say hello to some of you, and then let's start. I've got a packed house of ideas. I want to throw some out at you. I want to paint a little couple things if I can, and I got some stuff I want to give away. It's stuff, and stuff is such an underrated word, isn't it? And Carol goes, you really can write some things, and your vocabulary is pretty good, but you use the word stuff way too much. So I've got some stuff to give away. All right, here we go. So blessings to you, Donacell Barton. Thanks for being on the show this morning. Denise Albright, good New Year's Day. It is still early out there. I know out west, getting ready to head out that way. It's I'm thinking like, yuck, I have to get up early. Linda Schleitning, good morning to you from beautiful Ohio. Hiya, Annette Henslin. Lisa Overton, thank you for being on the show. Andy McBain, Dorothy Beasley, Laura Logan, Heather Falbert. Starting the year off right in art. Yeah, okay, stay with it. And that's what we're going to talk about a little bit today. Pat Lightbody, great to have you always, Melissa. Is it Neve? It looks like New Year's Eve there. Darden. Kay Piker. Yes, Melissa Darden. I hadn't seen the Neve in there too. Kim Sheets, good morning to you, my friend. Chris Whitaker. Thought about you today. I went through a pack of pencils and I thought, man, she can draw with pencils, people. Evelyn Morales, Miss Carla Hardwick. Miss Carla, I just call you that. Sit in today. Thanks. I haven't been able to hang out lately. Well, I'm glad you're here hanging out with us. Tissy Chambers, always grateful for you, your notes and cards and the crazy things you send my way. June Jones, blessings to you. Denise Albright. Oh, just saw you that. Hopefully I'm finally on the mend. Yeah, man, I'm telling you what. I just think after COVID, people, we're going to get knocked down a little more readily than we did. I just think the whole olfactory system is just, the factory is caving in. The old factory. Carol Zup, Happy New Year to you. Skeeter Pal, good to have you on, my dear friend. Drew Harding, holy smokes, from South Africa, people. Drew, I saw a picture of you and your beautiful, beautiful family yesterday, as a matter of fact, as I stood in front of my watching the pot get ready to boil. I was standing there getting ready to make some tea, of all things. And I was thinking of my friend Gabe, who was over there with your area for a while. And it's good to see you when you pass through the States. Always good to have you on. Jason, so always great to have you on from South Africa. I don't even know what time it is there, but blessings to you. Jason Nicholas, always great to have you on, man. The man who always thinks like an architect and who loves ink. I mean, just say that, just like that. He just paints buildings any color in the whole wide world, and they work. He makes them work. I don't know how he does it, but he does it. Randall Taylor Craven, Renee Keese. All right, Kristen Klingman. Golly, look at all you people jumping on. Obviously, you didn't have anywhere to go today. The mall is, well, it'll probably open because, commerce, no holidays. Oh, Doodah Day is the only holiday that I know that stops us here in the South. All right. Jim Hicks, thanks for being on the show, man. Good morning to you, Leslie Cleveland, Marlena Davis, Jennifer Yentz. All right, have to get you some tea from South Africa. Whoa, well, I'm drinking British tea right now, which is called, this is Thai Fu. I've been drinking Builders all through Christmas, and I'm drinking Thai Fu today, which is very bold, strong, black tea. It'll stand up and beat its own chest in the morning and say good morning to you. All right, so here we go. Listen, here's what I've got. So it's, you know what I always do. By the way, Apron says it's showtime. Mine doesn't today. I'm painting in a white shirt as usual. But I know it's going to blow your mind. I made notes. And that's scary, isn't it? When I make notes, you're in big trouble. And just right off the bat, anybody who's on the show today, if your name is there, I'm going to scroll through those a few times because I've got some giveaways. Here's what happened to me over the holidays. I had a friend call and say, hey, let's have a cup of tea. I said, okay, I can't today. Tomorrow afternoon, I have this window between kids coming, grandkids coming. So I ran to see him, and we sat and visited. Just it's been a catch-up we haven't had a chance to do in a while. Dear, dear brother, just a great friend. And so he said, hey, I have some things that I want to give to you that were my dad's. And my dad really thought he was going to go deep into art, but he was also into photography. He was also a musician. I'm going like father, like son. He goes, yeah, or like you, because we all have these digested, undigested interests. And so he gave me some art supplies that I'm going to give out to you. And they're a little used. Some of them are. Some of them are just in older looking boxes because they've been stored for a while. He passed, my friend's father passed a few years ago. And they put all this camera stuff together and all this. And then these are some art supplies. And he said, would people on your show like these, or would you like them? And I said, I'm going to give them away. That's so fantastic. And so I got a few things I'm going to give you today. And then I have some paintings I want to give away. I had a post that crashed yesterday that I posted out with some bees on it, my last bee of 23, and I'm going to give it away today. So there you go. Happy New Year from Kyle Dixon, the crazy man. Always depends on what you paint, always a blessing. Hey, man, thank you, appreciate it. You always think of crazy new ideas, laying low today, but back to school tomorrow. That's just no fun, Jason, but you love school, man. So here we go. Used paints have stories to tell. Well, these aren't even really used paints. This painting right here was done with, are you ready for it? Watercolor pencils. And so I'm going to give away a pack of watercolor pencils today, just right off the bat. And I wrote on the piece of paper, but I'm going to give this away with them. So there it is. I think I even signed it. It says, find a place to fish. Find a place to paint. Find a place to contemplate. By the way, if you haven't written that word down this year, write down the word contemplate. I've been working with some ministry people, and I find that in their rush of ministry and trying to do events and ideas and things and the biscuit just gets bigger, but it never really gets baked. And I said, you guys just need to go contemplate for a while with a clean pad of paper and a pencil or a good pen that you love. Don't skimp on your pens and pencils, people. I've got a lot of P's going in my show today, so I'm way here from the microphone. But I thought you need a place to contemplate. Art, good art comes from that, just some contemplation. And I'm going to jump into that a little bit today because I'm telling you how I am going to start off 2024 with my art world. Not because I've been skilled or schooled into this so deeply, but because I have gone through the contemplative experience of just doing it over and over and over, and the repetition of painting daily. I have painted every day, for the last 384 days. I missed a couple before that, but really I've missed less than 10 days in the last 4 years of painting something every day. And it's a discipline that has changed my art. It doesn't mean I've gotten to be a better artist, but it means that I've gotten to be more confident in how I communicate my story. So are you catching this? Those of you who really want to move your art somewhere, and I don't mean go sell it and be rich, good luck on that. You know what my brother said? He said, poets and artists never are rich or famous until after they're dead. So here it is, 2024, you're on the show, so that part's not happened yet. So for me, it means that in confidence, though, I get to share my work that I'm more proud of to other people, whether they buy it, hang it in their home, whether where it's gifted to them, or I'm in a restaurant and I paint on a bar circle. You know, I go in the restaurant now. Carol and I go in to eat at Bricktops here in Charlotte, and they just bring some of these over to me. They being the bar staff. They say, "Hey, got your paint with you today?" And I go, "Does a bag of flour make a big biscuit?" So I throw out my little Altoid box, and I throw out my little pen, and I throw out one of my water brushes, and I go, "Yeah." And this one waitress said to me, "Well, I have a crab and a shrimp, but I don't have," and I said, "You don't have a rooster?" And so I'll just paint her a rooster. And here's what they wind up looking like. Something like this. And so people at the bar start watching, and they start going like, "Hey, hey, hey." I said, "Well, this is one that I think I painted around 4th of July. See, he's lighting a firecracker there, the little crab is. And this rooster, sometimes I have room for this. I paint bees on these. And so it's not about the best paper. It's not about the best paint. It's about good quality tools, though, because as you get better, your tools should get better. But don't be afraid to start. Y'all know, many of you know that I started in my journal with this little $4 pack of paints that I bought in the museum in Washington in 2005. Why do I keep it? Well, that memory is good for me to have and realize where I've come and how I got there. So here's we go today. All right, I'm all over the place, but I want to share this with you. Here it is. See, I got there in contemplation. Find a place to fish. Find a place to paint. So this year, find a place to paint. What do you mean paint? The bathroom needs to be painted. No, find an area that's your table, that you can sit down at, that you can say, "This mess is mine." Come on, people. If I could show you what this desk looks like right now, you would probably go, "Oh my gosh, we need to have an intervention for him." And some of us need to come to Charlotte and hang out in his studio and clean the place for him. And then I would spend 2 weeks wondering what you did with everything. Right now, I have the brushes that I need in these 2 jars right here. They're there. They're behind my water. I have my Cheap Joe's Art Stuff paints. Are they close enough to you? If you're still brushing off the kitchen table and having to move your daily bills and your newspaper and your dog food labels and your coupons and all that stuff, and then get to your art, I'm going to tell you, you're going to not be unhappy. You're going to be unhappy with your art this year. So find a place. By the way, if you go looking for this set of paints at Cheap Joe's, you won't find them. These are American Journey paints in these pans. This is a cast iron skillet. It's a sandwich skillet. It's a little 5x5, they call it. I think it's about $15 online. It's heavy. It's not comfortable to hold. It sits still, though, and this is just a piece of acrylic that I sawed into the shape, and I put some magnet strips on the bottom. It's a sticker that I got from Joe's last time I was up there. And so they don't have this particular one, but you can make it. I wanted something that was heavy, didn't get knocked over, didn't move, and I could put the colors in it that I wanted. This is for on the road. Okay, so a place to paint is a great, remember that if you're making notes this morning, find a place to paint, okay? Find a place to use pencils. All right, let's do a giveaway just because it's going to be fun. These are DeWint watercolor pencils. DeWint makes all kinds of watercolor stuff. Keswick, I think, in the 1800s. Keswick, UK. You would think these are German, but they were actually made by a pencil company in England. Here's the entire set. Look at this. This set is slightly used. This blue has been used a lot. So whoever painted blue really wanted that blue pen. They bought the set for the blue one, I think. Do these work well? Man, I think they work fantastic. I'll show you how they work on a piece of bee paper real quickly. Here, let me just rip a page out of this. This is 93-pound bee paper. It's, I think if you, Chris Whitaker, when I take this paper, because I think you would like it. It's not bright white, it's natural white, but it really has a a beautiful in between. It's not really what I'd call hot press. It's mixed media paper. Here's what the cover looks like. It's 25% cotton. All this is written in French, so I don't have any idea what it means, but I do. I'll read it in French for you. Natural white. Okay. B Paper Company, and by the way, I think this company is in Munster, Indiana. So if you ever live up there, go up there and tell them Rue says, hey. I don't paint on it very often, but I've been using it over the holidays just for a change. I like to just kind of blurt out there and have a change. This is a Pentel pen. Let's find something. Here's an 03. I'm just going to show you how to use these pencils, and I'm going to give the set away. So here we go. Put a little music, and let's paint something. You're still using the table. Finally got a shelf for storage. Miss Carla. Denise says she's been disciplined. Any plans to teach in person this year? Not as of yet, but thank you for that. Do any questions, and I'll find them. Wow, that's a great question. Still using the table. But I got a shelf, Miss Carla says. Okay, find a tabaret or a shelf. A tabaret has wheels on it. You can push it out of the way. Maybe that's your thing. But don't let it take you 25 minutes to 45 minutes to set up your area, because then you'll lose that creative edge. I run upstairs. I have behind me, this black screen behind me has an editing desk behind it where I stand and edit video, because this is my studio. But here I have this old English pub table that has all my watercolor art supplies on it. Now, I do have this empty space, so sometimes I'll pull a laptop in and edit here if I want. But if it's a messy art day, I'll just come in here and I've got everything I need right here. And I'll go, ooh, I want to do that right now. Da-da-da-da-da-da. I don't have to wait to set it up. I've got my paint here, my water's here, my brushes are here. I don't use many erasers. Sorry, I'm talking so fast that my throat's still drying out. But watch this. I'm going to use these and I'm going to give them away. Here we go. A little music for, I need a little fishing music. What would I use here? A little contemplative music. I'm using this black pen to just give me my base for this fishing fly that I'm doing, like the one I did just a minute ago. I'm gonna come around here. I'm gonna come back with that hook. Look at that right there. I'm gonna put some black in here because I know what it's gonna do. Watch this. I'm gonna do these little chevrons, I think you guys call them. I think if I were in art school, they'd say, oh, that's a chevron. Or if I were in the textile business, you'll see this little chevron looking thing. It's just these little wiggly, squiggly V's that I'm drawing just like this. You see that? Okay. And then I'm going to grab some of these watercolor pencils if you want to do that. And I did a definition a few days ago of watercolor. I don't know if some of you saw it. I'm going to put this on my page. I did put it on here, but technically, someone asked me, what is watercolor? I don't really understand it. And I go, what have I always said in my teaching classes, in my workshops? I always say it's watercolor. It's not colored water. Could be, but it's not. It's watercolor. That means sometimes I paint with water first. Sometimes I add color first. But watch, I'm going to do both here. But these pencils are soluble in water. They're watercolor pencils. But here's what it is. People go, well, you're not using the right paint, you're not using the right brush. And I just told you, I use cheap paints, I use great paints. American Journey to me is a great paint. I know some of you have Daniel Smith, I know some of you have Van Gogh, I know some of you have Holbein. I get it. Use what you love and use what is light fast to your style. American Journey for me is the bright and the boldness and the light fastness that I love for my roosters. Thank you, Joe Miller, for that. Okay, so I have a stack of tubes over there. I squeeze those tubes into these pans, spray them with a little water, and then I'm ready to go. It starts with water. Technically, watercolor, I believe, is any suspended pigment that you can move across, around, and into the paper with watercolor. And you keep moving it around until it strikes your liking. In this case, I'm doing a fishing fly, so I'll put on my fly that I painted. In this case, I use vintage flares, and I keep thinking I'm going to keep building flies until I find one that I think would throw out in the water and the fish would like the taste to its liking. And so you see how I tie all that together? That's a contemplative process of me, make this note, telling a story with watercolor. And I'm going to tell you this, I don't care what you do. I don't care if you lead Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, make cookies, sell cookies, dig wells. The way you have commerce is that you start with community. And community starts with a good story. Something happens. Something's going to change. Something's going to make a difference. So figure out what that story is. So for me, it's this fishing fly. Watch this. I'm going to come in here with a little bit of orange right in here. I'm just going to make some marks down just like this. Just like that. And I'm going to put a little of this right in here. I'm also going to, as you can see, this fishing fly is taking the turn for some orange. But I think I'm going to throw some green in there too. And I'm going to put the green in between some of those black pen lines that I did right in there. I think you can see that coming down just like so. Boom. Okay. I think it needs a spot of red. What do we have here? We have this. I'm using somebody's colors today. Deep vermilion. Deep vermilion. I don't even know what that is, but it looks red on the end. And I'm going to put a little bit of that here and maybe just a couple here. And I want some, I think I need a little more. Do I have a black? Oh, look at that. Ivory black. There's some ivory black. I just want to put some little black pencil marks in here like this. Like so. See how fast this is going? And then I want a little bit right here, just like some thread that's kind of loose. Okay? And I'm just making this up as I go. I haven't planned this. I'm not looking at anything. I'm just, I'm not looking at anything, he says. I'm never looking at anything. Okay, I'm going to put a little yellow up here, and I'm going to add a piece of yellow right in there. And then I think I do need a little more. Let's just get really crazy because this is a fly that's never going anywhere. Let's just do some twist rings on him here. A little twist of some purple there. Kind of twist it down like that a little bit. And then go. All right, I think he's done. Now, I'm just going to take a small brush. This is a number 3 American Journey nylon. It's a little round, a little white water here, a little clean water. And then I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to start making some small little brush marks. And watch what happens to both my pen and this watercolor. Look at this right here. I'm going to go in here and just sweep across this. This is watercolor pencil. Okay? So it's soluble paint, pigment inside these pencils. That's the way the Derwent people made them. There's the directions right there. By the way, this set has the paper in it that I'm going to send with it. I think I put them all back, did I? Yeah, all right, I'm going to put them back. So I'm going to give them away just right after this painting. I'm going to give this painting away with them too. That'll be kind of fun. Now here I'm just going in and touching my damp brush to this. And you can't tell me there's no easier way to paint a fishing fly than this. Now I'm taking this small little brush. If I wanted to use a rigger, I could. But I'm this little number 3 round, I'm just barely letting the brush go over. I'm not in here tight. I'm loose. I'm back 3/4 on the brush, and I'm just pushing some little colored pieces in. Watch this. Remember I put a little water just where I put my hand in it. So sorry about that. Whoever gets it. I'm gonna grab my watercolor brush, and I'm gonna come into this tail end right here. Watch. I'm just gonna touch down. See, it's not doing it. So let's get a different watercolor brush. Or fountain pen. There we go. Take this fountain pen. That was not working either. Should get a fountain pen that writes. Here we go. It's close. It's coming. And I'm just going to put some little spots of ink right there and just let that continue to soften up so that looks like a little feather. Did you see that go out there? Okay. Same with these right here. Okay. I can always scratch in, and I can always change some of these lines if I want them just a little more to look like they're thread or pulled apart. So then what I would do is I'd go Roodoodles, Roo fly. This is going to be called the Derwent Doodle Head. 2024. Let's put a little splash of blue on that. Can we do that? Oh, maybe that's the person that was using this blue here. Need a pencil sharpener, but I don't have one. Let's see if we can just get a little bit of blue out of this here. Just scrabble some right up in here like this, and scribble a little blue in here, and then just go and lay quite a bit of water to it. Let's just throw some of this pen up. Put some water up in there. I know now why Bob Ross talked like he did. He was by himself in the studio. You know, he couldn't see people he was painting for, talking to. So he says, "Why don't we do this?" He's going like, "You sound like a nutcase." But anyway, there you go. All right, so there's my little look. You know, watercolor pencils, you can use them like I just did, or you can actually dip the pencil in the water and soften the ink a little bit, or the pigment, and then come in and just put a little more in there, and it's going to run in just a tad softer. All right, so here we go. Let me put the box back in. I should give this away because of see how fast that was just to do a little fish and fly. Good grief! Come on, people. Always changed up my studio space. I love that. Here we go. Hey, I'm scrolling down. You know what I do for anybody who's on the show and you've made a comment this morning? I'm just going to scroll back and forth, up and down a few times. I don't know how far I'm pushing it. I'm just hitting my finger tab on my Mac computer, and I think it's still rolling. Yes, it is. I choose a little block of people that come up. This is why I missed some questions. I'm going to go to QQQ right after this, but I'll throw out the bottom one, the top one. I'll take the middle name that comes in, and here it is right here. Boom. Hope you can use these. Boom. I've got, what's the three names? Okay, I've got Jason Nicholas was on the bottom. That's how I use soluble graphic sticks. He just posted. Gene Enthalzer is on the top. We have recruited neighbor that just loved it. We have even recruited neighbors that love it. I'm not sure what that is you're loving. Maybe that's your plunge thing you were doing. And Cheryl Bullard, Cheryl Hawkins Bullard, you have won these pencils if you want them. Now, if you don't want them and you would never use them, send me a note and I'll give them away to somebody who will this morning. But if you can use these and you get this painting, let me know in the next little bit. Say, heck yeah, I want those, and I'll send them to you. Cheryl Bullard, I need to write that down. So you've got to send me a note, because if you don't send me a note, I won't have your address. So there you go. All right. Can we do a Zoom meeting so we can join you and paint together? Heather, what a great idea, but it's crazy madhouse, and I am not a Zoom fan, but I'll talk about it, okay? I'm going to write your name, Cheryl, right up in here. Cheryl Bullard, Bullard. All right, there you go. So that's down there. That's not all. I'm going to give away some more stuff in just a little bit. Okay, so that's find a place to fish, find a place to paint. Let me go to all the questions here for just a second. Q. Did you get any new art supplies for Christmas? I got some that I'm giving away today. But I did not ask my family for art supplies for Christmas because, before Christmas, I had purchased already this set of beautiful Joe Miller, what they're called, pseudo sable brushes, and that became my Christmas present. And so there they are right there. Man, come on. They are fabulous. This one, it's still starched. I haven't even used it yet. This I tell, this is the quill, but it literally is a mop without a bucket if I want a big painting. And so I still have plans to paint my big lobster this year. He's about almost 8 feet tall. He's on canvas. I think I'm going to paint him with house paint. Okay. Do you plan to teach in person? Focus this year? And that's where I'm going to go. Jason, I'm going to go about focus in just a minute because you're going to love this, about where my focus is going to be. That's big for me this year. And would you ever do a Zoom meeting? It's possible if I do a small one, and I'll talk about that maybe sometime in late February or March. Heather, thank you very much for that idea. I'm not a Zoom fan because it just gets so noisy and there's so much going on. And then because people stop and look and see what other people are doing, and then you get into a thing where you're going like, well, I don't have a setup like that, and you feel good about yourself or you feel bad about yourself, and so I'm struggling with it. So how's that for an honest answer on how I feel about Zoom? All right, but I'll get back to it later, I'm sure. I really have thought about it and what I'm going to do, and if I might do some more hangout. Um, oh, an 8 foot lobster. I get it. Oh, yeah, it's a lobster on canvas. I'm not making. All right. So here we go. Cheryl's going to send me a note or send me an email, Cheryl, at whatever it is. Michael Hahn. No. That's not it. It's Roodoodles. I am Michael Hahn, but don't send it to that. Send it to Roodoodles at gmail.com. Would you do that? Roodoodles at gmail.com. And let me know if you want those. Hey, let me get back to my list here. Find a place to fish, just like you're going to find a place to paint. So this year in 2004, if you haven't gotten a place to paint, look, you don't need but a small 20 by 30 workspace. You probably need a place really that's about 3 feet by 3 feet, a small table. 30 inches by 3 feet long or 4 feet long would be plenty of space to do small, beautiful watercolors. And then get yourself stripped down into what you need of just some fine detail pens and pencils. You don't need all the ones that you have piled up in every cabinet in the whole world. And that's one of the things that I want to talk to you about this morning. Find a place to contemplate, find some simple tools for fishing and swishing, and also find something you love to do. So let's talk about that a little bit. So I told you about what watercolor is. It's just moving pigment around and over and above the paper. But I want you to know this. Here's what I do. Here's 3 questions. If you got a notepad, write these 3 questions down, and this will change your world. Whether you're a consultant, like I am to other people, and I ask this question of them of their businesses. If you're into church ministry, if you're into badminton invitational, if you're just an artist, if you're a farmer, if you run a canning business, quilting, I don't care what you do. If you're a blacksmith, here's 3 questions that I use ever so often to straighten out my crooked, fast-brained path to keep me focused. Here they are. Seriously. I'm going to ask them a little differently. If I'm asking them to a group I'm working with, I ask these 3 questions. So I'll give you all of the questions I ask. Here's the 3. What do we do well? In this case, what do you do well? So I'm asking myself, Ro, yeah, what do you do well in the art world, specifically? And then I try to answer that as honestly as I can. And I try to not just think about it, oh, I'm doing this great. I try to write it out because my pen doesn't lie if I'm honest to my journal. It comes through my heart, through my head, through my heart, out my arm, down the pen, and I write it out. What do I do well? I think like an artist. Remember, some of you have been through this with me in lots of workshops. I believe that I'm going to think like an artist and connect my story of art to someone as well as anyone. And you go like, well, that sounds pretty arrogant. Yes, I hope so. I hope so within here in a strange but humble way. That's what I want it to do. And so I write that as the truth. And I think the way I think about that in my captions and the story. So for me, art must have a story to work. So that's what I do. So what do I do really well? That's the first question. Second question is, what could I do better? And you can't just write down the word all. I can do everything. I can do everything better. If you're a baker, you're making birthday cakes for a living. What do I do really well? I make a cake that people rave about. Well, lean toward that cake more this year. And spread out the platform, not just the same 6 neighbors, spread it out to other people, a pop-up shop that lets other people taste your wares. What do I do really well? What could I do really better? If I'm a cake baker and I learned, if I had a new tool that separated my cake flour better, or if I could work with fondant, if I could make little giraffes and zoo cakes, or I'm just being facetious and silly, but you understand where I'm going. What would be something you would like to do and what would be better? So that's the first question. What do I do well? What could I do better? And the last question is, what should I stop doing? Very rarely do we give ourselves permission just to quit doing something. Because we go, well, I can't quit. Yeah, maybe you can. Maybe you just say, I'm not doing that anymore. So, I get calls all the time from people who want me to paint their cat. I actually like cats. We've owned cats. We had a Manx that was the coolest cat in the world, but I'm not going to paint him. If you do, more power to you. If you paint this, if you should, oh my gosh, could you do a picture of our horse? No, take a picture with your camera and then you learn to paint it. No, I'm not doing that. I have a list of no for me. I do. I'll show it to you in a minute. I'm not kidding. I got a no list. So what can I paint better? Horses? Well, I'm not going to. So that's off the list. So what should I stop doing? I should stop painting horses. I should stop trying to do architectural renderings. No, my perspective is not good like that. I'm a storyteller. So this will help you focus on who you are in 2024. All right? All right. So in this case, listen to it as an artist. What should I learn to paint this year? Ooh, now that's the question that Jason's asking, and that's the question that I've been asking myself. Each year I try to give myself a new character of some sorts. So what should I learn to paint this year? What should I paint better? Or why should I paint it better before I move on? Whoa, that's a good question in art. And what should I stop painting? So that's my horse answer to my art. So for that, I'm looking for this year. What tools should I start off with? What tools are really important to me? What tools should I get rid of? I'm not giving these pencils away because I don't use them. I do use watercolor pencils. I just have a great set, and my friend gave them to me to give away to some of you on the show because he loves what we do here. And so, which reminds me, in less than 5 minutes, I'm going to give away some more pencils. I have some over here. And believe it or not, hang with me. These are Faber-Castell. Look at this. Unused. Boom, boom. There they are. Brand new set of Faber-Castell sketching pencils, all made in Germany. And there they are in the box. Brand new. Holy smokes. And they're an older set because I know when this art company went out of business here in Charlotte. This is Binders who moved to Atlanta. So you've got a 5B, 4B, 3B, 2B, B, HB, F, H, 2H, 3H, 4H, 5H. So what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, I should have looked on the front. 12 pencils. That's why I'm not marketing. Okay, I'm going to give those away in just a minute. So what tools should I get rid of? What tools should I make sure I have? What tools should I get? What tools should I get rid of? And then do I think like an artist? And here's what I mean by that. Okay, this is the heavy one at the turn of the hour here. Ready for this? Here it is. To be or not to be? That is the pencil question. Gene Rowell just wrote them on the page for you there. If you forget, there they are. All right, so here we go. In my workshops, lots of times I use this word. And I don't use many French words because, as you can tell from my East Tennessee accent, I don't speak French. But the word is pastiche, pastiche, okay? It's really, the French adapted the word. The Italians really came up with the word. It's pasticcio, which really comes from the word pasta. Did you know that? Yeah, just do a little research, dig it up. Pastiche is if I were going to be an apprentice, if I went out to California and I said, Denise Albright in Exeter, look her art up. If I wanted to learn how to paint the eyes of a dog that had a humorous cartoon approach that pulls me in, could you teach me how to do that? I think I could do it in 10 days. So Carol and I went out there and we found a place, and every morning we sat down and she says, here's how I approach the eye with the pen. I would understudy there, and I'd get a feel for the eyeball, the eye structure. I could do that through the library, but sometimes having a person teach me do that is really good. You guys know that when I went to Maine, I decided to paint some lobsters. And I really did a lot of research and magazine painting, and I went to the library and I bought a book. I rented some books, stole some books from the library. Not really, but I did go buy a book on lobsters. And so lobster recipes, and it would show real lobsters and then pictures of lobsters. And then I started wanting to paint lobsters before we went to Maine. And because I had given myself this humorous approach that said this: I'm going to paint as many lobsters as Carol eats over in Maine. And then someone had told me in passing, it was probably Tom Brzezinski, who said this: there's an unwritten law in Maine. If you're an artist, if you think like an artist and you go to Maine and you do not paint a lobster, you could go to jail. And I loved that so much that I said, well, by all means, I don't want to do that. So I painted, and I sent a couple to Tom to look at, pictures. I bought a couple of his paintings. He sent me a painting. I did my pastiche work under Tom. Tom is a brilliant sketch artist. He was an architect, and he travels and sketches every day. Look at him in Rue's Crew. He's just unbelievable. Cool dude. And so I said, I'm going to buy you lunch. Just give me a 15-minute tutorial on this. And he said, I'm just going to ask you questions. How many legs does a lobster have? And I said, 10. And he said, yes. And I went, whoa, is that big a deal? And he goes, well, people think they just have 8 because they think these are legs. These are actually legs too. You know, those claws out there are actually legs. And so I started painting some lobsters, and I would ask for his critique on those. And so he would say, ooh, I like that one. This one was actually painted just last year. All these I think are 23. This one goes back to 21. So I came back from, but some of my first ones were in my journal in 2019 when we were, that's right. We were there in 21. So this one actually might have been painted in Maine. One of the little lobsters that's on the Etsy prints, the little blue lobster coming across, he was painted in Maine. So I carried a small journal, and I just had it for lobsters. That's all. Everything in that was lobsters. There were no roosters in there. That was on another book that I carried. And he said, well, that's silly. No, I just wanted everything in there lobster so I could turn back and go, look, you did that claw too wide. That's not a good break. This is a good break. So I would jury myself on this. I would do pastiche to myself, I was learning from myself, but I actually learned from Tom. But there was a point where my lobster, listen to this point, please. This will be big for you if you want to change your art this year. There's a point where you follow this show, you follow other artists, but there's a point that you need to become bigger than the sip and paint classes. You know what I mean? I'm not down on those people who make a living that way, but it's really about the camaraderie and the community and the wine, and you sip a little wine and you say, oh, let's paint this ocean scene. Here's how you do the ocean. Here's how you do the palm tree. Here's the surfboard standing in the sand. Here's the sunset. Here's the rays of the sun. And you come home with this little painting that sits on the counter for a couple of days. It probably doesn't get to the wall, and then it's back in the closet somewhere. And it really is your painting, but it really isn't your painting. I'm not hammering you, but I'm telling you, this is what happens in the art world sometimes. Pastiche was meant to apprentice someone to say, learn the tools, learn the style, and while you're watching other people paint, you realize you're never going to hold the brush the same way that Van Gogh held his. You're never going to make the circles in Starry Night the same way he did, left-handed. You're not even going to learn it one way or the other. You are going to eventually come up with your own style. But if you're constantly just looking at one person and how they do that, you have left pastiche and you've gone into just copying someone else's artwork. And then you don't feel like it's yours. So I started differently. I start with the story and I go, I think I want this lobster to tell the story. And so I think I want this one to tell a story, and this one to tell a story, and this one to tell a story. And then they don't tell stories as well as roosters do. You know, you don't see them much. They don't march around the farmyard and act like they know everything and they're important and they're storytellers so it's poking fun at me. That's what I do. I walk into a place and I got long hair and a block head and a square chin, and I say, have you thought about painting this place blue? Because it would look better than this hospital white that you have on everything. Could you just throw a little color on the wall? Could we just open a can of paint and throw it at the wall? And people go, well, you're rude. And I go, no, I don't mean to be this, but I feel like I'm here for a brain transplant. And so there's a difference between, and I did that to my first office when I moved to Charlotte, and I was reprimanded severely by, you can't paint your office here without an architectural review. And I'm going like, Okay, I'll get an architect to come in. And I did on my own dime. And they said, well, you can't do that. And I said, well, you told me to get an architect. And I did. Yeah, but that's our job. Well, you didn't tell me that part. And so my point is, you got to break the rules just a little bit. So break the rule, learn from someone, and then move into your own style, what you love, your contemplation that pulls you into where you like to fish, how you set your table. You see how all this is connected? And that's what I wanted to talk about today. I thought this was really important to talk to you about on this day of the beginning of Pastis. The word, by the way, came from, like I said, pasta or pastiscio. Pastis is, yes, you learn from that, but then move on. It's a potpourri. It's a hodgepodge. And so it's like if I learn to play the banjo just like John Hartford, there's already been a John Hartford. One, I'll never learn to play like him. But two, I'm never going to have his ability of rhythm and style. And so I'm just going to get frustrated. But at some point in time, I'm going to take from him what I learned, and I'm going to apply it with my own style. It's going to become mine. And then my heart's going to come through it, and I'm going to learn to write the songs that I like. And that's where the banjo is going to make a ring for me. Now, my banjo doesn't get played because I gave it up a long time ago. I just hang it on the wall now. And I like it hanging on the wall. And my grandkids get it down some, and I can dink around on it a little bit. Same with my guitars. That time of my life has sort of passed, but there was a time where it was my style and my songs and my words and my rhythms and my stories. And that's what I long for you to do in when you're finding your way a better place to be this year. So that's where the pastis comes in. Something that is yours, not just a photo of something you saw, not just an art kind of a fill-in number that you watch somebody else paint, but build your own library. Build your own library of things that you paint. What do you paint? You know what I paint? I paint a rooster. I paint a shrimp. I paint a crab. I paint a lobster. I paint a bee, a grasshopper, a bug, a fly fishing fly, a few birds, every now and then a flower or two. Not very good ones, but it's time to do that again. If you remember 2 years ago, I painted some little flower pots and some flowers, and I gave it away to someone with the seeds. And I think I'm going to do that again this spring. I laid this out to remind myself of it. I think I'm going to do this. These are marigolds. They're not my favorite flowers, but somebody would want them sown in their yard. And so, but I like daisies. So I'll probably do pom-pom daisies, or I'll probably do black-eyed Susans because they're rudbeckia. My point is, I'll paint a little painting and I'll put this with it and I'll give it to them. My friends planted their seeds, and they have the painting hung in their the little foyer-way into their dining hall. And I'm going like, that makes me feel kind of cool. I added to their backyard and I added to their house. So I think I'm going to do that again. All right. So here we go. I'm going to give these pencils away, and then we'll come back to that. All right. I'm talking a lot. Gene says, started out doing Native Americans. Woo, still have them on the wall. Some are 50 years old. Wow, that's fantastic. Don't feel like you need to be limited to only one fingerprint after all you have 10 different ones. That's a great call. Everyone has fingers, but I'm still looking for my personal fingerprint. Y'all have some great lines. I'm telling you what. And I may do another Google class this year. I may do a March class for some of you who want to dig deep for maybe 5 days or something. I won't call it a class. I'll call it a workshop. Let's give these away. These are Faber-Castell pencils since 1761. I don't think these are made in 1761, so I'm not selling them as an antique today. I'm selling them as this. I'm going to go watch the parade today, the Rose Bowl parade. It's one of my favorite. I've actually been, not to the parade, but I've been to the museum in Pasadena. And all right, so here we go. So I'm going to do what I do. I'm going to scroll these names again. Holy smokes, there's a lot of people on here and a lot of names. So let me make sure I'm scrolling up and down and up and down and up and down. Remember, you have to email me at roodoodles@gmail.com. If you get it, I'll select the screen here. It'll pop up in just a second. When I stop scrolling, I can see out of the corner of my eye that it's scrolling, but with my glasses on, I can't read it anyway. So it's like this. I'll push, I'll pull, I'll push, I'll pull, I'll skip, I'll push, I'll pull, and boop, I push one time and I pull one time. And I look, and we've got, maybe because he's posting a lot today, but Jason is at the bottom. Miss Carla is at the top. Jennifer Yentz. Discipline is a great word too, she says in this quote. Jennifer, if you want these pencils, you can have them. If you don't, let me know and I will pass them on to someone else. But I'm going to put your name on them for the time being. And I'm going to put them Jennifer Yentz. Okay. Jennifer, if you want these pencils, there they are. Great set of sketching pencils. Do I use sketching pencils? No. I don't even hardly use a pencil. I try and sketch with a pen. But just for you all to know what I do keep these pencils in here. They're 2B, or as Jason would say, not 2B. But I do keep some pencils in here to sketch with, and they are Murata Black Warriors. There's the pencil that I sketch with right there. It's a Murata Black Warrior, and I buy them in boxes by a dozen. And I don't really sketch with a pencil. I do every now and then. So that's going to go to Jennifer if she wants it. And I'm got 2 more giveaways before this day is over. And I'm going to give away a painting also. Let me share what I painted yesterday, keeping with my notes here, okay? Some of the things that I paint. First thing I do is I create the story. And what's fun for me is to find a new character. So here's where I'm headed this year in Rue 857. Rue 857 is going to be a little Facebook piece that I put out and go to YouTube. It's going to say pound Rue 857. It's going to be Rue 857 Creates. It's going to be something. You'll see it. I'm working on a dozen or more little 8-minute and 57-second pieces that'll just come out with helpful hints like I've just given you today. But I'm going to expand those one at a time for 8 minutes and 57 seconds. I'm going to paint something. I'm going to say, here's what I did it with. Here's what I used. Here's what I didn't like. Here's what I liked. Here's something that I challenge you with. Those are going to be the things. It's called Rue 857. They're going to go as far as they can go. So share them with your friends, share them with your family, share them with whoever, share them with yourself. The point is that it's a way for me to creatively push myself. So I'm doing it for that reason too. And I want to stay connected in social media. I like it. I like doing this and helping other people. I love the emails and the notes that I get that say, you have helped me get back to something that I love, and that's painting or thinking creatively, or for heaven's sake, say it. Think like an artist. I don't care if you're designing anything. You know, I showed you the video before Christmas that I did of the chandelier made out of concertina wire from the prison, dark to light. That's a story to me. It was the analogy and of taking an analog dark element, which was concertina wire that's made to hurt people, keep people trapped. And it was to cut it loose and refigure it in a way that with the lights in it, that it became a light. A symbol that means you're free, move about. You're free to move about the country. It's a great logo too from Southwest. My point is that's where the story in me really longs to connect with some of you to say, don't miss the story of art when you just think you're doing a landscape that looks like someone else's landscape. And I'm not bad-mouthing you people who do that. I just said pastiche is the way to learn. Thank you, Tom, for showing me so much about lobsters. And I'm still figuring out how to tell the best stories with lobsters. But my art has to tell a story because for me, the story is everything. It's everything. It does paint the picture for you. So for me, I create the story. I come up with what it is, what it should be, and then that drives the art. It's got to drive to a connect. It just doesn't need to be there. Now, what does that say about abstract artists? They may have a story, but you know from Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle, my book, when I go in and look at, and there's an artist there, and he or she is standing in front of their big abstract, and I look at that abstract, and I say to them, what does it mean? And they go, I don't know. I was just throwing paint. And when someone tells me they were just throwing paint and it had no concept or no hook to their heart or their head, I tend to want to say, I don't want to throw money at that to put on my wall if I don't understand it. Now, I bought Carol a painting for Christmas, and I see the story in it. And the artist shared me the story in it. And the artist told me what she was doing with it. And it connected. And I heard Carol on the drive home say, whoa, I love that. In fact, I didn't even buy the original because it was several $1,000s. But this print of it is glitch and it's just done beautifully. And I said, I can afford that. But I didn't tell her that. So I just had the artist ship it here. My point is this, is that the story hooked her deeply and then me almost as much. And I just looked at the faces in this piece and with the gold in it and I just went, I want that in our house. I know where I want to put it. That's the story that connects. That's what will move your art to your kids, your grandkids, your legacy, your faces on your wall, your abstract art even. Say, hey, I love this because I painted this blues player because I love the blues. That's a start of a story for me. It's in B flat. Oh, the trumpet in B flat. It's this. It's you see what I'm saying? It's the roses that my dad wanted on his tombstone. And today I actually looked over and I saw this. This is my dad's tombstone. Forgive the white flash in the middle because it was reflecting off the green marble. There's my last name. This has a rose etched in it. And you know what it says? It says think. And by the way, we didn't do this tombstone for my dad. Look how old this is. He died in 94 maybe. It just said think. That's all it said on it. Oh my gosh, I've been at this for a long time. And he always loved roses. And he had roses by the gatepost, and he didn't mess with them too much. He just said, tough it out. You're a tough thing. You got brambles on you anyway. You're part of the thorn family, so get out there and grow if you want to. But they were gorgeous. And we had a fence row that had roses all sewn in it and planted in it. And so I realized today I really hadn't painted a rose. I should maybe paint a rose. But I don't know. We never knew what he meant by that. By the way, we didn't, I think some of you have told the story. We didn't even know that my dad called me and said he was going to die on Thursday. I needed to come home. I was living in Jacksonville at the time. And when I got there, he did. He died at 12:06 on Thursday. Just passed naturally. But when we buried him and as they were closing down everything and they're getting ready to pick up the plastic grass and all that stuff they pulled it back and there was a tombstone. He'd already had the headstone set and it just had Han on it and it had think. True story. Hey, here's a lobster that I just painted on B paper, rough pencil sketch that I just went to ink, no erasing, just did it and blew it in like that. And that's a cool little lobster looking in the wrong direction. There's a dragonfly that I did. There's a bird that's one of my fun birds. It's called I Ran Away to Join the Circus. Here's some things that I think I want to paint next. I think I want to do more flowers. I think I want to do ladybugs. I've done a couple, tiny ones. I've done a couple lily pads, and this is a cricket. And I think crickets and grasshoppers, I've done lots of grasshoppers, not as in bees, but I did a butterfly and pencil, but I don't like it, but I think it's kind of different looking, and I'm going to keep it. But I've said I might do a trout and a frog and a feather, which I've done one or two. I'm going to have to do a shark and a seahorse and a shell because of my book. Poems, rhymes from the odes from the oceans, rhymes from the rivers, poems from the ponds. I'm working on the book, and so. But I think that. But I've said no to zebras and giraffes and foxes and prairie dogs. And as much as I love camels, no, their head is just too funky, and I just don't want to spend hours developing a camel head when most people don't care about camels. Although I think the conversations between camels could be fabulous. So I just put a parentheses out from it. There it is. I'm never doing snakes. Just forget it. I don't want to do them. They're just squiggly lines that I could lay down a flexible curve and trace it and put a head on it. And I don't. I spent my time shooting them. And I'm going to have to do a shell. But so I put shell no, but then I put shell over here because I got to do a hermit crab shell because he's subletting his apartment. And so, but those are just some quick things that I did yesterday with this and this. And Pat gave me this gel. What is this? This is a Sharpie gel that I thought, and I'm sure Jason's used a ton of those. And I did it with one of my prepping pens. So there. Oh, and I may have used my 05 Pentel, which I did in my pocket pen, but it's got an 05 refill inside this, the 05 Pentel pen. This refill is in this pen, so I just carry this one with me all the time because it doesn't punch, it unscrews, and I love that. And I had to refit the spring in here to make it work, but hey, I'm a blacksmith, I can do that. So these are some of the things that I think I'm working on for this next year and I want to run at. So let me give away something else, and that's what we're going to do. Then I'm going to give away a bee painting. And here's the last bee of 2023. There it is right there. He's on fly paper. He should have been on bee paper. He's on the fly paper from the little fly sheets inside this. A brand new one that I'm getting ready to open. So there it is right there. I got this one on sale, I think, in Asheville for $16.99. Woo-hoo-hoo. This is my 140-pound Kilimanjaro. So I'm going to give away two things. Ready? Here we go. First one is this. Look at this. All right. My goal, Mary Kay says, is to paint again. I have a good place all set to start today. Great way to start my new year. Please do, Mary Kay. Would you let us know how you're doing on that? I love it. I need to paint more consistently. Good. I'm glad I hit the thing here. I created an art cart to put by my couch, and the French word for that is what is it? A tabouret? Is that what I said it was? Yeah. A lot of times, do my best work sitting on the edge of the couch with and I think that works. Nothing fancy. Chris, don't change what you're doing because you have a great hand for art. And if you can do it that loose, means that you can take it with you and go anywhere you go. That's why I created the bug out bag for some people. For me, on an airplane. Okay. Gosh, lots of great comments. I'm going to go back through them today. Some of you... Wow. Okay. My gosh. Here we go. I'm looking at some quotes. Let's see. My problem is my 20 minutes a day turns into 3 hours. That's okay. Hey, Andy, it's fine. Maggie Carnahan, thanks for being on the show. Didn't see your name. June Jones, I think I said hello to you. James Oldway Jr., go Van Gogh. Here it is. All right, so here's Van Gogh. Listen to this. Here's what this is. This is an older pack of paints. It comes actually in the Van Gogh. This is brand spanking new. The brush has not even been. It's a number 6. There it is, a full set of Van Gogh watercolors. Okay, I'm gonna put it in a box and ship it to someone. This was given to me yesterday by my friend or 2 days ago, who said, "Hey." My dad bought this. He had it in the box. This brush, by the way, is selected filament. Ooh, this is going to feel like one of your a little more sable-ish. It's not a sable. It's probably, but it's a treated hair, synthetic. Anyway, you've got all these colors here, so somebody's going to win this morning. Boom! Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Is that 12 again? I should probably just look at the box. 12 tubes, brush in a painting box with the little thing. It's brand spanking new. Little mixing set. I'm going to put it in its box. This box looks a little old and outdated. So I don't know when this was purchased, but it's been stored. And I want to make sure. Hold on one second. Just give me a minute here to go a little longer this morning. Why don't I learn to open this? Oh, these feel very, the white's going to feel a little stiff. And titanium, soft. The white feels a little bit hard to me. So that may be the one color that you might have to replace. Anyway, don't know how old it is. That none of them have been opened. But after a while, I don't think if there's a year on them, I don't see it. These were made in Holland. Okay, so I'll send it to you, and you can use what you want. And I don't paint with a lot of white anyway. Why? Because my watercolor paper is my white color. All right, here we go. Scroll these, and boom. Here we go. I'm going to go all the way to the top, and then I'm going to start down. Good night. A lot of people. Okay, here we go. So it's going down. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Sorry, I wasn't on the scroll. It didn't move. All right, here we go. Let me make sure it's moving. Yeah, I can see it moving now. Andy McBean, you're on the bottom. No, Miss Carla, you're on the bottom. It pulled 4 names up. Pat Lightbody, you're on the top. Linda Schleitning. Linda, would you like some Van Gogh watercolors? If you would, you got them. Okay? Linda, let me know through an email, and I will pass them on to you. I'll put them in an envelope and ship them. Or I'll put them in a box. It's Lynda, okay? Okay, let me know if you want those Van Goghs. That'd be awesome. I told you I was going to give away some things. I want to give away this fly paper with a bee on it. I just ripped the edge. I like that. I got to doctor him up just a little bit before I give him away. If you got to run, I get it, but I'm going to just do this for a second just because I want to. Grab my Kilimanjaro brush here and just give a little bit of a blue splatter around this. I like that, just like that. I'm going to get a little bit of gamboge here and just give a little bit of a bee splatter. Oh, yeah, I like that much better. Okay, he needed that help. This is really just with a fine pen and very little ink, can you tell? Or very little paint. Just a touch of paint here. And I'm going to actually just put a little touch of orange just right in there, too. Just let that just sort of pop out. And I think I'm going to touch a little bit of just pollen, just with some cadmium orange right there, just like that right there. Beautiful. I'm liking it so much. Okay, so there's the bee that somebody's going to get. All right, here we go. And here's the scroll one more time, and then I'm out of here. Put on some music, and we'll be gone. All right, here we go. You got to find another way. Well, no, I guess this is the best way to draw because I really did go through all these names. Any comments? So, okay, it looks like it's, I love this. Alice Durham, you're on the bottom. Jennifer Yentz, you just won watercolor pencils. Jack Wolfenbarger, holy smokes. Couldn't have done that in 100 years if I'd tried, my friend. Jack Wolfenbarger and I went to high school together. I think he's living in Florida these days. Jack, I'd love to send you a bee. It says, Happy New Year. Okay? And I'm going to actually go here and draw a little line under this and go 2024. Okay? And so, because this is on the changeover today. So, Jack, I'm going to put your name on this little piece of tape right there. Send me an email at roodoodles@gmail.com. I hope you're doing well, my friend. What a funny thing to do. Alice, good to have you on the show today, too. I will go back through this as I have another cup of tea here and answer some questions if you have some. Thank you for the encouragement to do another workshop or class. Hey, answer those questions. Find yourself a way to start. 857, what does it mean? It means that I paid at 857 lots of times, but what does it really mean? It means it adds up to 20. Why do I sell my paintings on auctions for $857? Well, because I can, and they're my paintings. And it's so fun for people to have paint. And so when my paintings go inexpensively, that doesn't hurt my feelings. It just helps you spread the word for my art. Thanks for doing that. I'm Rude. That's what the grandkids call me. I'm out of here. I probably am in an airplane next Saturday, so I don't think I'm painting, but I'm going to, before the month of January is out, try to have some 857s come to you. As soon as I'm around this thing on any Saturdays, I'm painting. I'm going to continue to post. Sorry. In fact, I'm going to post another bee like this one that I painted that says Happy New Year. And this was the last bee of 23, but I painted another one this morning, which is my first bee of 2024. He's here finished, and this bee is number 1196. And I painted a couple more little bees. They were out here yesterday. One's carrying a bucket. I'm going to post this one. He'll be the first bee of 2000. He's bee number 1200. Happy New Year 2024. I'm going to post him in just a little bit. He'll sell today on an auction if somebody else is interested. Did the words of 2024 is simplify. That's a great word to have, simplify. I love it.